Welcome everybody to Small Man Podcast. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing my good friend Robbie. Hey Robbie, how you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So Robbie, why don't we start off by letting me know, telling me where you train and what color belt you are.
Sure. I train over at Gracie Barra Kapolei. I am a black belt under Professor Bilal Ahmed.
Okay.
hmm
How long have you been training in at Jiu-Jitsu?
Oh, boy. So I started relatively, I guess, later in life. I was 32, 33, around there. 2015 is when I started. 2014, 2015. So what is that? 11 years, 12 years, 11 years?
11, 12
Around
years?
there,
Yeah,
11,
yeah,
12
yeah.
years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we started around 2015 also, so
Yeah.
similar timeline. Awesome. Did you start off at GB?
Yeah, so my first, I guess, introduction to jujitsu, of course, is like I'm sure, like everybody else, like watching Pride or UFC. I had the bootleg Pride tapes that me and my friends would kind of just circulate amongst each other, and I've always wanted to try it, but I never had the guts to do it. But long story long was my wife and I were living in Seattle at the time, and there was a it I was looking for jujitsu gyms everywhere, because I'd previously tried, like, other martial arts growing up. Like, I tried kung fu, I've tried Thai boxing, I've got some interesting stories about those. And then, there was a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym, like, 5 minutes down from where I lived. It happened to be a Gracie Barra. I went there one day after
Mm,
work and, man, hooked the first 10 minutes.
wow. Wow.
Yeah, it was an incredible, incredible experience, I thought. So, life-changing. I feel like life-changing for everybody who ever starts this journey.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. That's quick. I think it took me a little bit to get hooked. Not really long, but yeah, first class, man, your instructor, that vibe, that the people there must have been really great to get you in that
Well,
quickly.
it was the first professor I ever met was, a guy named Professor Rodrigo Lopez, as Brazilian as you can get. He was the head instructor there at, GB Seattle. He paired me up with a tiny Brazilian woman who tied me in knots. I think she might have been a purple belt at the time, and yeah, I was like, "This is insane." Like, I never went in there expecting anything or I was gonna do something, never, like, muscle or be the man or whatever over there. I was ready to be humbled, and I knew I was gonna be humbled, and she humbled me that night, so it was great.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you know, I've heard stories, listened to many podcasts where people are either humbled and really like it, or like the ego just takes them and go, I'm never coming back. What's wrong with this? Why can't I dominate this small person?
Yeah. No, it just goes to show that, I mean, it's all about technique. I mean, I didn't outweigh her by tons I mean, I'm part of the small man crew, um, as well, the 5'10" and below. But it it just kinda, like, justified the art, I guess,
Mm,
and
mm.
showed me what are the possibilities for being that size, for the lack of the height or the weight. And so it was just really cool. I was so shocked. And I already knew that I was expecting that, but man, it went above and beyond. So it was really
That's
cool.
awesome. That's awesome. So you started in Seattle. Did you grow up in Seattle?
No, I was born here. Um,
Ah,
yeah, my wife as well. We're both from Mililani, graduated Mililani High School.
nice.
Um, but we were over there at the time, but we decided to move back home for my wife had a job opportunity, so and it
Very
was
nice.
shortly after my first son was born, so we decided to move back home. And that was the thing, like, wherever I move, I'm like, now I'm like, I need a jujitsu gym and a barber, right? So I found the I found the gym at Kapolei. I was like, oh, sweet, it's a Gracie Barra. This should be easy transition
Mm,
in
mm,
terms of that system, the GB system. So I went there and met at the time the head instructor and the owner was Professor Elias Ramirez, and Professor Bilal was there too. Um, but yeah, I just ended up going to an advanced class. I think I was a blue belt, couple stripes when I moved back, and then man, totally different game because you know those mainland cats, they're especially GB, they're much bigger. They're like wrestling based. There's a lot of SWAT team people who train there. Um, so I got real comfortable with people who are giant on top of me. And that's where I learned to
mm.
be comfortable. But I learned technique and you know, fine tuning things at Kapolei. So different games,
Oh,
which I really appreciated. So
yeah. I also have a friend that is in New York, and he said, yeah, people out there, they're huge. Like, I mean, everyone's big compared to me here in Hawaii, but I mean, I can't imagine what it must be like out there.
it, I mean, the nicest people in the world, but also the scariest looking people in the world. And I mean, I can't imagine being a criminal running from these guys. So, and they're trained.
It's crazy. That's crazy. Okay, so
Yeah,
let's talk about some of your like your early martial arts ventures, so to speak. You
yeah,
mentioned you had a couple different ones you tried.
yes. I was always into like martial arts movies, and so like, oh, kung fu's where to go, right? These guys are flying around and doing some cool stuff. I want to fly too, and so I tried. It was a small little uh I apologize. I forgot the name of the organization that had it, but it was Hung Gar style kung fu. And I tried it. It was fun, but then I remember one day that I came to class and we were working on forms, and I was holding this wooden sword, and I'm going around doing these techniques, and I'm going, "What am I doing? Like this is the most impractical thing that I've like." I appreciate the beauty of it on film,
Mm,
and any martial art is good, I think,
right.
in terms of discipline and stuff, but the practicality wasn't there for me. Um, so I left. I decided not to do it anymore. But then I tried when I moved to Los Angeles, I tried Thai boxing for a little bit. Loved it. It was great. Because striking was definitely not my forte. If I were to throw a punch at you right now, Robin, it'd be like throwing a grape at you. So it's like it's not there. And when I moved to Seattle, I continued Muay Thai, but I ended up being like a punching bag to some guy who was like 6'4". I'd come back with bruises on my forearms, and it was just I was like, this isn't for me. That's when I discovered something that's catered to my size,
Mm,
my mentality, and I can use that to my advantage, not trying to hit a guy who's 6'4". Like why would I do that? That it just didn't seem it didn't fit. It didn't feel right in here, you know what I mean? So,
right, right.
and it wasn't practical. The biggest thing was the practicality.
So, how old were you when you were doing the Thai boxing?
I was in my 20s.
Mm.
Yeah, I was in my 20s, and I took a really long gap after I stopped, and like I said, I discovered, or I guess had enough courage to go to a jujitsu class at 32, 33 years old, so, yeah.
So that first venture into the jujitsu class, was there anyone else like not pushing you, but was there any other influences that help you to gain confidence to go there? Or you just said, "Okay, time to suck it up. I'm gonna show up one day."
A little bit. There was that factor for sure. But I used to watch Henry Gracie's vlogs, like him going around before he kind of got big. You know, he's talking about the Energy sandwiches, and this is when Brian Ortega was super young, and I used to watch that, and then I kind of ventured into like watching people's journey from white belt to like their first tournament and this and that to kind of give me a little bit of a bird's eye view. And then one day I just decided to go, and the rest is history.
Very good, very good. The best day to start jujitsu is today, right? The next best day
Yes,
is
sir.
tomorrow. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
just gotta get started.
Just go.
All right. So you mentioned you have a couple sons, right?
I do. I have 2 sons. So it's, my son Wyatt is 9, and I have a 4-year-old named Beckett.
Oh, okay. Have you gotten them into jujitsu yet, or they are participating in other activities?
My oldest has just started, finally. He's about a
Ah,
month in. I've been dragging him to the academy for years since we moved back and always asked him, and he never wanted to do it. And I never want to make my kids do anything that they don't want
mm,
to do. We tried to organize sports. He's more of an individual. My youngest son will, you know, he'll do anything. He'll just run through a brick wall if everyone else is running through a brick wall. My oldest will sit there and do some risk assessment before participating into anything. But
mm,
the way that we got in finally was his friends were interested. And so when his
mm.
friends started, he started. So right now, him and his friends have started at GB Waipahu. And
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, so it's been really cool to see. Really, really cool to see. So yeah, hopefully he keeps up with it. He says he likes it. He loved it the first class, so, I just gotta nurture that now, right?
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I've said it before, but like with my son Carter and I, we have kind of a special bond doing jujitsu together. I mean, we're fortunate that we started together, so we both have that same passion and we're at the same, relatively the same level. We have the same number of years, but I think he's a little more advanced than I am. But yeah, it builds a special bond. I've seen that happen many times. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy for you that your son finally dipped his toe in the water.
to pivot a little bit, that's why I got interested in, before I met you officially, I think that was GB Waipahu's opening, I think,
Yes, yes.
where I officially met you, but before that was, I think I randomly, like, one of your blogs or something that you and Carter were doing in your garage or something. You guys are rolling, and it kind of just ended up in my feed. And I was like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Wow, this is really cool." Like, it was inspiring for me because I was like, "Wow, that's like I hope to share that with my kids one day." And then like I remember going to the opening, and I was like, "What the hell?" Like. You guys are here. I was like, of course, this is a small world. There's like 2 degrees of separation
Yeah.
here in Hawaii. And
Oh,
so I was just
really?
like, and I was like, "This is amazing." So yeah, I know I enjoy the videos. I enjoyed the videos. I enjoyed what you've been doing and kind of what you're moving into and keeping the uh just keeping the culture. You know what I'm saying? So
Thank you. Thank you. I know
yeah,
I retired early this year and I had some time on my hands, so I can't train as much as I like to, as I'm advancing in age. So I figured that there'd be other ways for me to stay involved, right? So I'm officially
yeah,
a coach at our gym now, and I think these podcasts is another way for me to stay in touch and help the jujitsu community kind of grow.
it's awesome.
Yeah. Do you have somebody you feel has been like a big influence on your jujitsu? Maybe maybe early on or even currently.
Yeah. Oh man. Um, definitely. Definitely Professor Bilal. I mean, I trained with him for so long. He awarded me my black belt. He thought I was worthy enough finally. And him and Professor Elias, because they're the professors I was introduced with when I moved back home here. And the combination of those two, and especially Professor Bilal, have taught me so much. I mean, it's funny because Professor Elias is a little older than me. Professor Bilal is younger than me, but like they're they've influenced me huge, huge, huge. And I like to I'll throw Braden in there as well because I remember him
Mm.
being in my teens class when I was teaching, and, like, suddenly he's got, like, a man voice all of a sudden, and then, like, he became, like, this ridiculous phenom, and,
Yeah,
um, man, it's just kinda see, that's the thing I love about jujitsu. When you see these kids growing up, they you see the progression. You see, and if I like have a 1.1% influence in that to make them a little bit better, then I think I did my job. But um, it was definitely them. There's so many. There's Professor Rodrigo who came in and tied my belt for me the very first time I went in there. Um, they all played a part into to they all they're all on this black belt. You know what I mean? They're all ingrained into this. And so
that's
everybody,
awesome.
all the training partners, all the relationships that I've made, everybody, everything's an influence. My family influences me as well because they push me and they put up with my crap with doing this and you know, once you start jujitsu, you start hugging people a different way. You're just kind of coming in, you know, hugging a little harder, hugging a little tighter, and you're breaking their posture. It's all out of love, but you know, it's all influencing me, and I continue to find influences, to this day.
What do you think might be some common misconceptions that people have about jujitsu that maybe make them hesitant to even start or even try it?
I think it's the physicality. Um, there's something, you know, it's all optics, right? These people are smashing you, they're on top of you, they're smothering you, they're choking you. Maybe to some people, that's a little bit more violent, um, than getting knocked out, but that's not the case. It's just not the case. If anything, you're being more gentle with someone. Um, maybe it's the sweat, maybe it's the hygiene. It's definitely not the cleanest sport. But I think once you break through the being comfortable with someone literally on top of you, that changes you. And that pressure you feel there kind of translates to any pressure that you have outside of that. I truly believe that. And but you know, there's that. There could be misconception UFC. There's misconception of cauliflower ears. You know, you think people are rough, but man, every single person I've met in jiu-jitsu has been some of the nicest people in the world. And you would never know that this person's a doctor, this person's a lawyer, a police officer, you know, a teacher, you know. So it's all around. So there's not you can't judge it by the looks of it.
You're right. You're right. And the thing I appreciate most about jujitsu, there's no punching to the head. That is just something that I'm
Yeah,
not into.
yeah. No, no, no. I'd much rather be choked unconscious than knocked out and hit my head on the ground and
Oh
might not
yeah.
wake up after that. Um,
Yeah.
so
Tho-
it's and I wouldn't want to punch somebody and have them hit their head and then now I'm in
Yeah.
handcuffs for defending myself, you know.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of that, right? Have you ever had to use your jujitsu in a self defense type of scenario?
Thankfully, no. Anytime that I've ever had a fight was prior to any training that I had.
Mm.
So, um, and I hope it stays that way. I never want to do that, but you know,
You know, it's interesting because I ask a lot of people that question, and almost every single person has said no, and it's basically boils down to de-escalation, right? Use your words to defuse the situation. I mean, if it's life and death, of course, you're gonna have to do something, but it's pretty rare that it's gonna hit that level. Yeah. So
you're I think you become more aware of things, and that's just not worth it. Why even be there in the first place? Just remove
exactly.
yourself. There's no need.
It's like I say, bad things happen at 2 a.m. There's really no reason for you to be out
Uh,
at night that late.
that's right. That's right. That's right. That's 100% right.
All right. What do you think your jujitsu will be in 10 years? Like, oh, before I ask you that, like, how long have you had your black belt?
Oh, I got my black belt in 2024.
Okay, so a couple years in. Okay.
Yes, a couple years in.
Um, Getting close to that first stripe. So, what do you think your jujitsu will be in 10 years? Or where would you like it to be in 10 years?
Um, Hopefully I'm able-bodied still. Um, I turn 44 next month, but I know that's still young. But I am aware of things cracking and hurting and just making sure that I keep up with it. And I guess this is a good segue that, hopefully in 10 years, my school is open and successful and giving back to the community. And it's just spreading the culture and the community, keeping growing the community. I'm a s- a wholehearted believer of a rising tide lifts all ships. So there's more schools, there's more availability for people to train, more people to grow the community, more people to learn about this art that we do.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Do you coach classes over at Kapolei now?
Yeah, I one of the instructors there. I mainly focus on the juniors, teens, and fundamentals. Occasionally, I'll do some advanced and no-gi. When Professor Bilal's not available, I'll do that. But I kind of cater to the fundamentals and below.
I see. So, what's the class schedule look like over there, like days of the week and times and that type of stuff?
See, this is where it gets tricky because I get it confused with White Pahu all the time. But
Mm,
I
mm,
mean, we do have fundamentals on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and there's advanced no gi on Tuesdays and Thursdays. There's advanced gi on Mondays. Sundays is we usually kind of have it. There's some open mat stuff there. There's or sparring classes, I guess you say. Not open mat for, but and some women's classes. We try to have Professor
oh,
Heather, who
nice.
runs our women's program. She'll usually have a women's only class there or conditioning class. It depends what's kind of going on. But and throughout the week too, sprinkled in the, like the 4 year olds to the teens.
That's awesome. Try to can you kind of step me through what like I use the word typical, but obviously there's no typical. But what a typical class for you, say like a teens class, how do you run that class? What would the from the maybe from the warm ups, how do what do you do from there to, to a close of class?
It depends because sometimes, when you have an influx of like brand new kids coming in, you want to make sure they're taken care of. So we do our traditional GB warm ups. I might throw in some drilling, um, some exercises or something before that. Depends how many people are there. Sometimes there's just like over 30 teens on the mat, and it's just like there's just no room. But usually show two techniques, and then we'll do some, specific training for the positions that we worked on. If there's time, maybe I'll throw in a few rounds of sparring in. If it's competition time, if there's a comp coming up, I usually have Fridays as more of a comp class because we have a Thursday and Friday teens class, but I tend to cater Fridays more competition. So the intensity's up a little bit more, drilling a lot more, takedown drills, more positional training. It's not really techniques those days. If there's a competition coming up. If there
Mm,
isn't, I use Friday to sharpen up what you've been working on for the week. So we might go a little faster. Maybe I had a technique that was broken into two different segments. This time you got to run through the whole thing. On Friday, you got to go from opening the guard to pass, not just opening the guard, that kind of thing. So we'll take the whole week and this is where you get to clean it up, sharpen it up, and hopefully that kind of pays off and you build from there, build from the beginning of the week to the end of the week.
very nice. Have you noticed maybe in the last few years that there's more interest at the kids level in jujitsu?
I don't know if it's because it's summertime and parents don't have stuff for their kids to do, but there's always that influx in summer, when school's out. But recently, yeah, there's been more and more teens or more like families who maybe have moved to a different part of the island that were training somewhere else. We get a lot of that. They may have been, we've had some kids who lived in town or were training at like other academies, and then they moved. And so they needed to find a new academy. So they just kind of, which is kind of cool because I think, you kind of see where they're at and they feel comfortable already. But then you do have the kids that are just moved here or just wanted to start. So there's been an influx definitely at kids and teens for sure. What I love about
Mhm.
that though too is, this always happens, I'm sure, at concept or whatever, is like, it always starts with the kid coming in and then one of the parents might come in. And then next thing you know, it's the whole family. So we have a lot of family units in Kapolei, like where it started with their kids, then their siblings, and then the parents jump in.
That
So
is,
it's
yeah.
really, and then they end
I
up being in competition and everything together. So it's kind of cool.
I I love seeing that when the whole family gets involved, and it's like you said, usually starts with the kids. One of the kids will get in, and then slowly but surely the parents get drawn into it as well. Yeah. From a slightly different angle, right? When we were at UFC for a while. There'd be some parents that would just kind of yell stuff to the kids and kind of get on them, and they didn't train, right? So more than once, I told them, "Well, maybe you should try putting on a gi and see how it really is." And then they took on a different appreciation for what the kids were going through, and then they dialed back the intensity of like, yeah,
Yeah, there's that switch that flips when they're actually part of it. Um, we haven't had too much sideline coaching. Um, not really bad. There have been times where you kind of have to tell the parent like, "Hey, you know, let me do my job and you enjoy the break that you're having for an hour because I'm babysitting your kid here and we'll come back and, and we'll see where we're at."
because
But
at the end of
yeah,
the day, like I always say, the likelihood that they're gonna turn jujitsu into a profession is so small, but the
yep.
benefits of teamwork and patience and all these other things that come with it, that far outweighs any gold medal that they can win.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I've seen these kids just change before my eyes, like over time. And I think the parents kind of, well, maybe some don't show appreciation, some definitely do. And it's just cool to see. It's cool to see them growing up, and not only for the fact that like, hey, they're doing an armbar correctly now, or they're doing, they're competing, but they're just a changed person. And they're calm. They're not as, not as crazy.
Yeah, I mean, our job, right, like you said, I think is setting these kids up for success as young adults and into adulthood, right? We're helping to mold their mind as far as the way to approach different situations or stressful situations. So I think we have a big part. I mean, we're not like school teachers, but we have, like you said, an
Yeah,
hour, 3, 4 hours a week with these kids, and we can help influence them in a positive way.
exactly. And they, a lot of times too, it's just them. Like for my own son, I find it extremely hard for me to coach him. You know, um, you can't. It's hard to fight that. Like you expect a little bit more uh, from him or her. If from your kid, but with my son, the first time he went in, I was on the mat a little bit here and there, but I said, because he asked me if I was going to be on there, and I said, well, maybe for a little bit, but I'm not going to coach you. You need to learn how to be with other authoritative figures and really, you need a bond with these coaches. You need to really listen to them and not turn your shoulder and look at me or
Mm,
am I doing this correct or whatnot. I'm like, I'm not your coach. I'm not your coach. I will help out, but I really want you to learn from others.
that's a super awesome approach. It would be so easy to just try to coddle, not maybe not coddle, but guide and overlook. And I mean, letting him have confidence in other people, it builds another aspect of his personality.
100%. Yeah. Especially with now, Coach Braden, he's his that's his coach. Professor Ray, is his professor. I just happen to be a professor, but his dad, but I'm not trying to be that for him. I need to be the dad, and they're the coaches.
And another interesting dynamic, right? Because Brayden is on the young. He's obviously like 19. He's young, right? So my son's still on the younger side. He looks young too, right? So
Mhm.
kids seem to have a natural gravitation to them as coaches, or at least to my son, because he's not really, from their eyes, he's not really an adult yet per se. He's still kind of like closer to them than like their parents or like Professor Ray.
Yeah. No, I totally see that when I watch the classes because, when he's talking to me, he doesn't have a smile on his face. When he's listening to Braden, he has a smile on his face. He's more, alert, more chippy. I don't know. He's
Mm-hmm.
bushy
Mm-hmm.
eyed or whatever. And it's just kind of, it's cool. So I think there is that, him being a young coach, maybe he feels that he relates to him a little bit more. So I don't know. Maybe it's like a big brother thing, There's
Yeah.
something like that
True.
too. So
True. True.
who don't?
All right.
Nobody
Let's
wants to listen to their parents. So
Exactly, exactly. All right, so let's kind of go down the competition pathway now.
sure.
So, have you do you have a competition history like from your early days or even currently?
I competed in white belt and in Seattle. I did a couple of tournaments there. I think it's called the Rev. Um, I didn't compete at blue belt because I had my son, so I was kind of in and out of training uh, during that time. Competed at purple belt, brown belt. I did fight to win. Um, can't remember how many years ago. That was maybe 3 or 4 years ago when they had it here. I haven't competed in black belt yet, though.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you enjoy competition?
I do and I don't. Um, I hate the weight cutting. I hate the prep. Um, when I transitioned over to teaching, I found that way more fulfilling than any gold medal I could ever get. Um, I've coached soccer when I was little. When I was younger, I played soccer since I was 5. I did some coaching for that. So I think it felt natural for me to coach. Um, but if you were to ask me if I have to pick one or the other for the rest of my life, it would definitely be coaching.
Mm,
Um, competition, it's fun. Sometimes, like, I'll work myself up and I want to, and it takes me a while to mentally get ready for competition. And then I'll be like, okay, I'll do it. And then I'll, bust my ass getting ready. And then when it's done, I just want it to get over with. And then when it's done, I'm like, cool. All right. Maybe I'll retire. I'll retire again, you know? Cause after like, and plus the tournament situation, it's just me. Maybe it's the age, but like, depending on your bracket, like if you have to fight more than 3 or 4 times, it's so grueling. Um, whereas, fight to win or like a super fight type of
mm.
thing, that's more my speed. You give 100% and you're done. Like that's my style. Um,
Mm.
but we'll see. I'm thinking about, I'm weight cutting and training for the open here coming up, but I still haven't like put pen to paper if I'm actually competing or not. But no, it's getting late though. It's getting closer and closer, so I should make that
Yeah.
decision soon.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So, one of the things I ask people, especially the people that are, like you, like professor, coach level, um, do you find it difficult to teach, but also try to train for a competition? Is there like a conflict, do you feel?
Yes, there's not enough time in the day. After 3 or 4 classes that you teach and you try to go, okay, now I need to train one, your voice is gone, you're mentally drained, you're tired from coaching, right?
Yeah,
Um, and finding the time to train when you can is difficult. You can't put yourself 100% into that mode. So, I haven't figured out the formula yet. I'm still, you know, trying things out, but also at the same time, let's just see where the cards lie and just try it out. If you weren't prepared, then, I don't want to use that as an excuse that I didn't train for it, but
right.
if you know, plus if you have a family, your spouse is working and, you need to put your time into everything, right? So you have to find these times to squeeze in. So it may not be training specifically jujitsu, but like going out for a run, going to the gym, at least doing something where you're putting a little bit of uh, pressure on your body to kind of keep it, you know, in a state of readiness, I guess, um, is what it is what it is. And if you can find it, you just do what you got, do what you got to do.
Yeah, because I mean, to your point, right? You have two children. I mean, you're married. You have a family life. I mean, jujitsu is an aspect of your life, but it cannot be all consuming that you neglect the other important parts of it, right?
Yes, and over the years, I've been you know struggled with that and learned the hard way. Let's just say about finding that balance. And it's a constant struggle. It's a constant balancing act you have to do. And hopefully you have a good understanding spouse and partner who who realizes what this, I always told my wife, this isn't just like exercise or learning how to fight or being cool or something, but this is a community of people that you bond with. This is therapy. This is
Yes.
mental health. Yes, we're trying to choke each other, but this is good for the head. This keeps me grounded, I think.
Yeah, I would always say, like, even after a tough day of work, one class, one training session, and all the stresses and worries, and it just kind of goes away. So it's like a reset for me. It would be a good reset and give me the energy to go back to work the next day.
Yeah, a little sore, but you still going,
Mm, mm.
right?
I didn't ask you, but what do you do for work?
Um, I was a art director at a cloud infrastructure company. I'm just a glorified graphic designer, so I do
Oh,
design. Yeah.
very cool. Very cool. All right. So, um, I guess the upside is that you're not out in the sun, breaking your back doing manual labor. And the other side is, I mean, probably you sit down most of the day, doing your work. So, jujitsu
Yes.
helps you there. Yeah.
Yes. Y- I have a standing desk that is not used as a standing desk, so it is. You need to. Yeah, it's one of those things where like, yeah, you sit on your butt all day, but like you have something to lean on afterwards. So
Yeah. Yeah. I interviewed Chris from GB Waipahu, and he mentioned your name being somebody that he liked because that you would always be at the tournament supporting him and the other GB athletes, and we kind of had a brief discussion about that, yeah, before the interview. You kind of want to talk about what motivates you to be there?
yeah, we briefly talked about it. It was I just love it. I love coaching. I've had some tournaments where I didn't have a coach, and so you're looking for some stability, just a friendly face. I remember one Triple Crown. I think Professor Bilal got pulled into a match. So he was supposed to be my coach, but he got pulled in a match, and I had to go already. And so I'm like looking around, and I had No fault to her own, but I had a young white belt was sitting there being my coach, and I was like, "This is not gonna help me at all." Just to be honest, I mean, let's just be
Mhm.
real. So, if I'm available and if I can, I will be there to help out what in any way I can. Whether it's you want me to sit on that chair, you don't want me to sit on that chair, you need some motivation, you need a warm up, I'm there. I just love being a part of it and being there for people is sort of maybe selfishly it makes me feel good. So
That's so commendable. Like we coach kids too, right? And I think kids a lot of time need that calming voice, just relax, it's not life and death, we're gonna just go have fun, right? So to your point, right, that friendly face, that calming influence, right? Just having somebody around there. You might not give them the technique to win the match, but at least they can feel good about themselves going into it.
yeah, I mean, just having someone tell you don't forget to breathe or don't forget your underhooks, that's pretty much what you need. Uh,
Yeah. I mean, the other part that I always talk about that I enjoy is like because we've been doing it for a while, we know a lot of people there. So I see people like you and Ray and Braden and people that I can't train with people most of the time because we're at different schools. Everybody's training all over. But when at a tournament, one of my friends said it's like a reunion, you see all these
yeah,
people and you kind of
yeah.
catch up. So I love going to all the tournaments. It's a really fun time.
Yeah, it's just fun. We're just there to have fun. Um, and if you get that fake medal, then good for you. But just to test yourself is something, once you get past that, like, what did Hodger Gracie say? You either win or you're learning, right? Just take it as that. Who cares about the
Right.
medal? That's
Right.
fluff. You 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 trained for something, you committed to something, you executed, whether you win or lose, you followed through. So, and you tested
Yeah.
yourself and you know where you're at. So,
The kids that we used to coach, I would always tell them, I don't care if you win or you lose. I just want you to kind of learn from this experience and just keep pushing forward and try not to make if you lose and you made a mistake, just try to limit those
yes,
mistakes in the future.
exactly.
That's all you can do. Your life is not defined by whether you won a match at gray white belt when you were 8 years old. That doesn't
Yeah.
matter, right? That
It
really doesn't matter.
yeah, nobody's gonna remember it the day after. So,
Exactly. And that's why sometimes I don't want to say it bothers me. Sometimes it kind of worries me when I see parents getting overly excited or just, if their kid loses, they're like yelling and trying to argue. And it's like, come on, it's a kid's match. It doesn't really matter
yeah, or they're reviewing footage. Um, y like, that's not what it's about. So, we've been to these competitions so many times where we see, yeah, like, the whole family on the side and screaming, and one, you're not helping at all. You're not like, the the athlete can't hear their coach because everyone's screaming or everyone's saying 5 different things. Go
right.
here, go there.
Right.
This person's saying something else. Oh, half your other family's on that other corner. Um, it's you can't really control that, but hopefully over time they learn that, you know, let the coaches coach, let the kid compete, and we'll go from there.
Because it is a skill to be on the mat competing and hearing your coach calling out instructions to you. It's not an easy thing to do. I mean, I've only tuned in maybe in the last few years. I I just did whatever I felt like. I wasn't even listening. So I can
Yeah.
imagine like a 8-year-old, like 100 people yelling at him. Like, what are they?
Yeah.
How would they
They're
even know what to do?
they're looking around everywhere. And I've noticed some of the tournaments now, I feel like the mats are getting further and further away and you're having to scream a little bit more and it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to coach, especially when you have a wall of sound behind you too, trying to contribute and, you know. It's difficult. I don't know what the answer is, but
Yeah, because I mean, you can't, as a coach or a professor, you can't necessarily tell the parents, okay, don't cheer for your kid. Let me
yeah,
tell them what to do, right? It's like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, that's not the reality of it. But I mean, if you want your kid to get the instructions from me, I mean, I don't have a megaphone for a voice. So, I mean, I can only yell so loud,
I
right? If
know.
one person against 30, I'm not going to win that shouting match. So,
Not at all. Not at all.
yeah, I know.
You got to do your due diligence of trying to go over things with the kid beforehand before they walk on, or tell them to do just focus on me. But you're asking a lot for a kid who's maybe getting pummeled, or getting stacked, and you're they don't know what to do. They're looking for something. They're looking for a way out. They're either
Right.
gonna cry, they're either gonna tap, or they're just gonna give up. But we
Especially,
gotta
I
we
mean,
gotta figure it out in some ways.
especially if they're a beginner, right? I mean, you can't coach them
Yeah,
to a technique that they've never learned, right? So,
exactly. And they don't know the lingo yet, or
right.
so. But yeah, there's some situations where you're just that's so rough. Like I feel bad for the kids. So.
Yeah, yeah. So let's segue into a recovery. What do you do? If is there anything that you do for recovery?
There's a lot that I should do. Um, if I had all the money in the world and the space, I'd have saunas and hot tub, cold tub therapy. I'd love to have access to that. But nobody does really, right? So, um, especially immediately after training, you might, but or maybe at the academy. Um, but I just try to stick to the basics. I have a lot of supplements, vitamins, amino acids. Um, it's all about access, right? These are the stuff I can control easily. The diet, um, exercise, and run when I can. Um, the biggest thing that I need to do more, and I'm sure everyone has to, but especially older players, um, is to stretch. Uh, 'Cause my hips are starting to be shot, and so it's just,
Mm,
stretching a little bit before and after, definitely, is something I need to be better at. But in the meantime, it's whatever is handy, the supplements and the exercise and the diet. Those are the 3 easiest things I can control on my own, that I don't need much. I don't need a lot of room of. I don't need a whole weight set. Um, and that's about it, man. If like I said, if I it the whole cold tub thing, I don't have access to, so I might just take a cold shower after, just something that I can easily do. It may not mimic it completely, but that's the best you can do right now. Um,
mm. Okay, that's good. That's good. So you mentioned that maybe once in a while you take a run. Do you do any other sort of physical type activities or things of that nature aside from jujitsu?
Well, when I first moved back, like I said, I played soccer since I was 5. When I first moved back, I found some old teammates from high school, men's rec league and stuff. So I was trying to do both of those at the same time, but egos never die in soccer for some reason, and you just get hurt all the time. And I couldn't keep up with it. By the time the game was done, it would take me an entire week to recover, and the next game was there already. So I had to hang up the boots and kind of focus more on one thing. But it's just, you know, it's just going to 24 and running on a treadmill and making sure I can at least, you know, keep up with that. Um, I'm trying to, I have some other ideas about, going for walks with the weighted vest. I heard that's really good too. But other than that, not much. I'll run with the kids at the park sometimes, or do that kind of thing. They keep me
Awesome.
busy, so
Okay, that's good. I mean, like someone told me, just move, right? Just do something to keep moving, and that's good
Just
enough.
move. Yeah.
Just move, yeah. All right, so we're winding down the interview. I'm gonna ask you a bunch of I'll call it rapid questions. So, first question is favorite guard,
Half.
half guard. All right.
Half guard.
Favorite submission,
Ooh. Okay, so my most successful one, I suppose, is a triangle, but there's an in between one. I really love TP chokes.
TP chokes. Okay. Takedown or guard pull.
100% guard pull.
Okay.
You can't pay me to take someone down.
You and me in the same boat, brother.
Yep,
That's me too. All right.
guard pull.
Uh, favorite gi color.
It'd be white.
White.
It'd be
Okay.
white. Yeah.
Gi or no gi.
I train both. I love both, but I feel better and more comfortable in gi.
Okay. Favorite training partner, if you have one.
Ooh, I was dreading this question here. Um, let's see. I'll try to do my top three here, or top four. Definitely Professor Bilal is one because anytime we ever roll, I'm like, well, I lasted maybe 30 seconds last time. Let's try 35 seconds, right? So there's that. Um, I love rolling with Braden actually. He's such a monster and he's like my size, so it's he's a very, very good training partner for competitions. Um, and his technique is flawless. So there's another coach that I work with, Coach Miguel, a really good purple belt. Uh, I love rolling with him. It might turn into a silly goose time sometimes, but it's a good roll. Man, there's so many. Professor Lejo, I like rolling with as well because he gets me in just these random positions. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, and how do I get out? And suddenly I'm wrist locked. So so that's always fun. He keeps you guessing. But that'd probably be my top four. And shout out to everybody else though. All right. So
All right. All right. Best training advice you've ever received.
just keep coming.
Just keep coming.
Just keep coming. One day it's just going to click. I use that with some of the newer students as well. They may feel frustrated. I said, one day it's just going to click. I can't tell you when or where. It's just going to click. Oh.
Just keep coming. Got it. Favorite post training meal.
uh, well, my situation is different. I'm a married man with kids. So it's anytime I get home, it's usually just whatever leftovers there are that the family ate. So I know that's a silly answer, but leftovers.
Huh? That works. That works. All right. Last
If
one.
I had a
Go ahead.
choice
Mm-hmm.
and there'd be no repercussions about it, I would have a chocolate milkshake
Chocolate
every single
milkshake.
night. Yeah.
All right. All right. Last one. Favorite sports team.
Ooh, teams. Let's
Teams.
see. Soccer would be Arsenal. Um, Basketball would be Lakers. Football would probably be the Seahawks. Shout out to Professor Pastor Wade, Seahawks fan there. I enjoy hockey from time to time. I do like the St. Louis Blues. I think that is that all the sports there? Oh,
Ba-
baseball.
baseball.
Baseball. I am a Mariners and a Dodgers fan. More Mariners than
Dodge.
Dodgers. I'm a player fan for the Dodgers. So, but team wise, be Mariners.
All right. All right. Bonus question. Favorite grappler or MMA fighter?
Dang. Oh man. Uh, Marcelo Garcia would be up there. Um, Hoffa Mendes. I'd like to think I model myself after them, but that would be a huge insult. I really like, Maisa Bastos, I think is her name.
Mm, Raisa
Um,
Bastos.
yeah, she's as technical as it gets. I really enjoy watching her fight. So that that'd be it. It's the small people. It's the small people I appreciate a lot more. Not saying they're tiny or anything, but it's
Right.
that's more my style, more what I like to watch. The more technical aspect, not like
Mm.
shooting a takedown and driving him in there and ripping some heel hook or something. It's
Like a
cool.
Nicky Rod,
It's cool.
Like a Nicky Rod style.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch. It's just it's not me. It's not me.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. All right, Robbie, I appreciate again taking time out to do this interview. I want to give you a chance to shout out or give thanks to whoever you felt you needed to.
Yeah. Once again, I've said his name too many times already, probably, but Professor Bilal, for sure. GB Kapolei. The cruises, GBY Pahu. They're Linda's like our academy mom. She takes care of everybody. Um, I quite frankly would be running around there like a chicken with her head off without her. Um, all the students and families and training partners at Kapolei, and above all, my wife and kids, my family, to allow me to, uh, you know, participate and of this madness that we like to do. So, um, you know, shout out and thanks to all of them.
Very cool. Very cool. So again, Robbie, I hope to see you soon. Probably at the next tournament.
Yes, sir.
Maybe I think GB Waipahu, they're getting to a 1 year mark. I don't know if they're gonna do something, but if they do, I'll probably see you there. But from everybody at Small Man, thank you, Robbie. See you on the
Thank
next
you.
one. Us.
Appreciate it.